For the next guest speaker, we have William Wang, the founder and CEO of Visio. And we also have a special guest which is going to moderate and interview Mr. Wang. And the moderator's name is Carissa Francisconi Pinto Ribeiro. And let's welcome both of them on the stage.
Starting. So I'm Clarissa. I want to thank this conference for the opportunity to meet a professional that everybody knows here in Southern California and in Taiwan. Before this meeting, William and I spoke a bit, and I was able to learn a bit more about his personal life and his personal story, and a bit more about Visio itself. As everybody knows, as everybody in this conference knows Visio and your personality, knowing that your company is known for the quality of the products at a fair price, it was very rewarding to learn some personal details. So let's start early in your life. I know you've moved from Taiwan when you were 14 years old. You came to California, you didn't speak English, and you went to a public school. So how was that?
Yeah. First of all, this is not a Visio TV. This is out of focus. The picture quality is horrible. And in case you want to see a better picture, you better buy a Visio 4K TV. So we'll get to the size soon later. But anyway, to get back to your question, yes, I moved to Hawaii actually. I moved to Hawaii when I was 12 years old, 1976. And in 1978, we moved to Orange County. So I've been here in Orange County for the last 40 years. And I love Orange County. This is my home. And so in 1976, I was 12 years old. And when landing in Hawaii, I don't speak a word of English. And so is my sister and my brother. And we came here because both my parents believed that we're going to get a better education here in the U.S. and we're going to get more opportunity here in the U.S. And also back then, Taiwan was a little bit shaky, because the U.S. dropped the diplomatic relationship with Taiwan, and the United Nations going to drop the relationship with Taiwan. So both my parents believed that we'll be safe here. So that's the reason we moved here. As a matter of fact, I think my dad, who was 91 years old today, this year, he's here somewhere with me. So I want to thank my dad for bringing us here. So just like you mentioned, we came here without an understanding of any English, any American culture. And the first couple of years was horrible. It was a really bad experience for me. People think Hawaii is a great place. For 2 years in Hawaii, I never even been to the beach. And, kids, all the classmates, I went to a public school, all the classmates think I'm a strange kid because I don't look at them. I don't talk to them. The reason I don't talk to them, not because I was egoistic or arrogant, was because I don't speak the language. And I got into a fight all the time because people think I'm so arrogant because I want to reply them. But anyway, came to California in 1978, got a little better, learned more English, and started to adapt to the U.S. culture a little more since then.
I think a lot of people here understand cultural differences when they have to go to a new country. That's my case too. What would you say are the biggest cultural differences between an Asian and a Western environment? Or
I don't want to generalize the difference between Asian and Western, but I guess Asians are a little bit more humble. They don't really say, they're more politically correct. Not like Donald Trump. But, I mean, Western Americans more direct, and they say what's on their mind more so. And also, I think in the U.S., we grew up in a culture that you're supposed to disrupt the legacy. And I think in Asia, when I was there for 12 years, and I still deal with quite a few Asian suppliers and friends, they learn how to adopt the legacy. So they call it American dream. Why is American dream? American dream is basically saying that if you can disrupt something, you can make something better, do it. And people will reward you for that. I think in Asia it's a little bit less rewarding when you try to disrupt something. So I guess it's that's my takes on the cultural difference.
Following on that, as you brought your father here today, I can see that you are very close to your family. How do you see the role of your family in that influence and in your success?
Well, first, it's not, if not for our parents, I don't think I ever get this opportunity to sit here today and talk about my entrepreneurship. And when we talk about entrepreneurship all the time, people don't understand. Entrepreneurship is about taking risk. If you look at the statistics, one out of 20 or 30 entrepreneurship become successful and last more than 10 years. And the odds really against you. And so an entrepreneur got to learn how to take on risk. And I believe the family, the environment which my parents gave me, allowed me to take that risk. I often told people that I grew up in such a great family that I never had to worry about my underwear drawers. It's not full. It's hard to describe that feeling because I don't have to worry about my insurance bill. I don't have to worry about tuition. I don't have to worry about taking some kind of risk. So that risk-taking capability, I don't think I had it inside me without a really great support from my family. My family gave me that environment to allow me to take on the risk, and therefore, I'm an entrepreneur.
Well, your parents risk coming here, so that's from the family for sure. You mentioned education as being an important part for your family. I know that after school you went to engineering at USC. Why did you pick electrical engineering, and why USC out of so many options?
Fight on.
I do understand that the USC alumni is a very strong force, and we'll get back to that in the future.
Yeah, we're only 10 minutes away from the campus, so you better say something nice about us. But most people think that I had a choice. I didn't have any choice. I couldn't get into Stanford and Berkeley. And but my daughter did. But I couldn't get into all the fancy colleges, and I ended up in USC. I hate to say this, honest to God, it's the truth. I was so surprised that USC even accepted me. And my GPA out of high school was 3.3. Today, even at 4.0, you can't get into USC. So I was pretty lucky. I don't know why, but I'm pretty lucky. But and also engineering, I didn't pick engineering. Like a really good Taiwanese-born Chinese son, my mom told me to be an engineer. I want to say, electrical engineer, that's a great major. You can make a lot of money. There you go. Yeah. But I want to be an architect when I grew up. Everybody know that. All my friends know. I'm more artistic and try to study some Fourier transfer or mathematic, whatever. I don't remember a thing from school. But it wasn't my choice. My mom wanted me to recommend it. I shouldn't say wanted, recommend me to recommend engineering, and which I did. So that's probably the reason why my GPA was horrible in USC. My GPA was 2.3. Simply because I don't like engineering. And my attendance was like 30%. And I spent 70% of my time playing video game at the arcade.
Okay, as we can see, the alumni communities offer strong ties in the United States. It's very connected. How connected to USC alumni are you? Would you say that the alumni environment opened doors for you in the past?
Yeah, I met a lot of really great people from USC. Let me just give you a true story. 4 or 5 years ago, I met this guy in office lobby. I said, "Hey, I remember you." And I went back. He doesn't recognize me. I remember him, but I found out he was in the same class with me back to USC Engineering School. And he's the person I tried to copy the homework from, but he won't let me copy his homework. So we ended up to be a good friend, and he ended up helping our business a lot. He sold quite a few chips to our company, which has become the critical part of our, I don't know you guys, we sell this audio soundbar. We're number one in the US, we're at 33% market share. And inside the soundbar, the chips is what he managed to represent the company, and he sold it to me. That's the reason we're in the soundbar business. So he helped us quite a bit. But I'll definitely thank USC for giving me this opportunity to, get to know so many people. And by the way, speaking of USC, I couldn't get into the grad school back in 1986 because my GPA was horrible. And I tried it twice. I got rejected twice. But USC was graceful enough to let me make the commencement speech at the Graduate School of Engineering 7 years ago. So that was my revenge. That although I couldn't attend the school, but I was able to make the commencement speech. So.
A recognized alumni for sure. Do you think being a Trojan still opened doors for you?
Yeah, locally, I mean, I belong to quite a few clubs. I think 40 or 50% of the people are all from USC. They definitely allow you to open door, and it's a great icebreaker. How was the football last week? Oh, yeah, they're horrible.
Okay. When you were only 26, you decided to leave your job and build better than IBM computer monitors. What motivated you to get out of your comfort zone and become an entrepreneur?
Well, I didn't have a lot of choice, too. And well, I went to work for Datong after college, USC. So electrical engineering degree, Bachelor of Science, USC. And I couldn't get a real job because, again, my GPA wasn't that great. And but Datong gave me this technical support job. Thanks. And the job was at this video display department. Back in '86, that's when PCs started to become popular. And Datong was building computer monitors for IBM. So I was hired as technical support engineer. I got paid $1,750 a month, which is significantly lower than most Bachelor of Science from USC. And but I learned quite a bit, and I became fascinated with video display, and because I'm still pretty geeky, although I don't like engineering, but I'm still pretty geeky. So I believe around 1989 that we should build a computer monitor which is better than the IBM spec. And back then, IBM is the standard in the industry. So I went to my boss's boss, and everybody. I went all the way to the chairman of the company, Mr. Lin, and I said, we gotta build this non-IBM compatible monitor. And he told me, do what you were told. We're IBM house. We're gonna build for IBM. We're not gonna deviate from IBM spec. So just focus on building whatever we tell you to do. So I say, okay. And with some encouragement from a couple other friends of mine, I just left. I say, I'm gonna build it myself. So that's the reason I started a company. So I call myself the accidental entrepreneur. I don't know a thing about business. I was pretty comfortable working for somebody, but I simply believe that I can solve a problem, I can make things better, and that's the reason I started a business on my own. And I was pretty lucky that my boss at Datong here in the US, Sun Qian, he actually invested in me. He gave me some seed money. And along with another supplier in Taiwan, we started the business.
Okay, that was actually my next question, as I know that you had different sources of investment on your first business. These two you mentioned. So how did you present, besides your family, how do you present to your boss? How do you present to an outside source that, hey, I have an idea and I will change the market?
Well, it's pretty, I never intended to start my own business again, right? But I made a lot of money for Datong. I broke all the records, and it was a 4-year I was in Datong. I started from technical support engineer to product marketing to sales and marketing. So towards the end of the 4th year, I quadrupled the revenue, and the company was making a lot of money. So obviously my boss liked me. And so he gave me $150,000. I say, I'm gonna start my business. He said, oh, here's the money. So he just gave me the money. So I never knew
Didn't
why.
have to ask.
I never asked him.
Yeah, that definitely makes it easier, as I assume most entrepreneurs usually have to hunt investments.
Yeah, I was lucky. I never had to, in the beginning of my career, I never hunted for investment. I got it, people handing money to me.
Hard problem to have.
Yeah.
Have you ever been rejected when you were looking for investment?
Oh yeah, many, many times.
Okay, so what was the strongest no you received?
That was a lot. I mean, I had lunch with one of the, I don't know if you guys remember back then, there was a computer company called AST. Yeah, AST back in Irvine. One of the founders, his name is the T of AST, Tom. About 15 years ago, I went to him and said, I got this great idea. I want to build this TV company. I want to take on Sony, and we're going to kill Sony and Panasonic. I said, I already need a little money. And I had a meeting with him at this prestige high-end bankers club. I still remember. And he's a pretty nice guy. He didn't really tell me no, but I can tell he think I'm crazy, So I never got the money from him, but I had lunch with him 2 days ago. We were talking about it. And it was funny because we met at the same club, which is he rejected me 15 years ago, 16 years ago. So we're joking about it. But he turned out to be a really good friend. And I learned quite a bit from him. I learned how to say no politely.
Between your first business and Visio, you have had a few businesses that were not successful. In 2000, as you were landing in Taiwan to renegotiate with creditors, you were in an airplane crash that half of the people on board died, and you were actually intoxicated, right, with carbon monoxide poisoning. How this event affected your life? How this situation changed? How was this a game changer?
Well, that was a funny trip because funny. back then I lost a lot of money, but I still have this big dream. I want to build this internet-connected TV. So I met this group of people. They asked me to go to Thailand to meet them. So this billionaire Japanese guy and a billionaire Korean guy was willing to meet me in Bangkok to listen to my pitch. That's the reason I went there. On the way back from Bangkok, of course I didn't get the money. I got 2 no's, right? So they never gave me the money. And on the way back, I went to see my creditor. And back then, again, I lost a lot of money. I got creditor in Taiwan. One of the creditors, a well-known Taiwanese company called Lidong, and a pretty well-known, pretty big company in Taiwan. And the president doesn't want to see me because he know I don't have money. So he said, "Don't waste my time. Just go back to the U.S." I say, "No, yeah, you go make money." So I say, "No, I gotta see you. I want to see you. I want to tell you. I believe someday I'll pay your money back to you." And so he said, "Okay, come over at 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock." So my flight was scheduled. I was scheduled on China Airlines, 4:30 flight from Taipei back to U.S., Los Angeles. And so I ended up changing the flight to Singapore Airlines that evening because it's beggar can't be chooser. My creditor will meet me at 3 o'clock. I'm not going to say no. So of course, I missed my China Airlines flight. So by the time I got out of the meeting at 5 o'clock, the typhoon started to pick up. It was horrible. It was typhoon hit Taipei all of a sudden. And on the way to the airport, about 10 o'clock at night, you couldn't really see more than 50 feet ahead of you in the car. It was raining real bad. It was windy. And I asked my friend who drove me to call Singapore Airlines. They say they're going to take off. I said, "If you're going to take off, I'm going to fly." I really want to get back that evening because that was my daughter's first trick-or-treat. She was like 3 or 4 years old, and she dressed up as Snow White. I promised her I'm going to go home to see her trick-or-treat. So Singapore Airlines was the last flight allowed me to get home that evening. It was Halloween, October 31st. Yeah. So I got on the plane, and I was the last guy on the plane. The plane wasn't full because most people in Taipei didn't get on the flight because it was typhoon. People thought it was too risky, And I got on, and I was the last guy got on the flight. And the captain and co-captain took the plane. They got out there quickly because they want to beat the wind. They want to make sure they get out of Taipei before the wind picked up. And they ended up taking the wrong runway. And there's I think back then there are 4 runways in Taipei. 22 left, 22 right, 5 left, 5 right. 5 left is the longest runway in the airport. So typically, Singapore Airlines only take the runway 22. They're not really familiar with 5. So it requires a 5L because it was the longest runway in Taipei. And so the plane got to 5R, and the runway was lit. So they thought it was 5L, so they took off. And because Taipei Airport have no ground radar, the terminal, the controller doesn't know where the heck is this plane. So they cleared them for takeoff. So the captain and co-captain took the wrong runway. They thought they were on 5L, but they're on 5R. So hit lift-off speed, and half the plane lifted up in the air, and I was in the front of the plane, and I heard this noise, like this. The next thing I know, I leaned to the left. And obviously, first thing came to my mind was, I'm dead. Something went wrong, right? I'm dead. The thinking thing came to my mind was my family. I miss my family. And the third thing came to my mind. Remember, I had this creditors meeting who I owe money to 6 hours ago. I thought, wow, how come I had no more headache? How come all my headaches are gone? I lost like $40 million during the period of 4 years before the plane crash. And my blood pressure was 160 over 130, and I was in bad mood, and it was the worst part of my life. And I gotta lay people off. I gotta shut down the company. I gotta liquidate the assets. I've been through everything, and it was horrible. I never want to do that again. But at that moment, I thought, oh my God, there's no more headache. Just like that. I have no more pressure on paying out debt. I have no more headache. The next thing I know, I'm still alive. So I lift my feet up, assume my crash position, and the fire came underneath me. And the fire disappeared quickly because I think the explosion sucked out oxygen away from the fuselage. And the next thing I remember was unbuckle myself. I started running on the plane because I couldn't breathe anymore. The moment fire disappeared, I couldn't breathe anymore. There's no more air, no more oxygen. So I got up the plane. I was the only guy on the plane running. So I ran real quick, tried to open the door. I couldn't open the door to the right. I ran to the door to the left. I couldn't open the door to the left. In the last few seconds, I had no memory. And next thing I remember is the door popped open, the rain came in, the oxygen came in, and the door blew open, and the hot air pushed me out. So I got ejected on the plane. And I ran real quick, zigzagging, and I don't know I can run that fast. But I did, and 8 people followed me out. So I lived to tell. So my takeaway, and my takeaways is if you have a headache, don't worry about it. Someday it will all go away. And just focus on live the most out of it. So that's my take. But you got to be optimistic. Now, I'm a pretty optimistic person, and I was happy to be alive. First, I was sad that I got to go through that process. So I was pretty happy that this happened to me. Not really. No, I shouldn't say that. I was happy that I had that experience. It really taught me a lot about what to focus on.
You also, at a moment, you own around 5 companies at the same time. Could you tell us the most significant mistake that you have made in your previous companies? So these were opened before Visio.
Yeah, I was pretty young when I made my first $1 million. I was like 28 years old, and I was pretty successful. I had a computer monitor company. I had 2 computer monitor companies, a computer service company, a direct mail order computer PC company, and an engineer lab in Taiwan focused on internet TV, and a bunch of other stuff. And obviously, I made a lot of money in the beginning. I was so young. I was so naive that I think I can do it all. I can do even more. I'm greedy. I want more. I want more success. Not necessarily for money, but I want to do more.
Prestige.
Prestige, yeah. Ego, all those things. And I'm also micromanaged because I was so successful in the early days. I believe I can do it all. I make all the decisions. I didn't really utilize the people we had, and I didn't really spend a lot of time building a team. So I was building a little entrepreneurship of myself. I was building William's little shop. Many of them, right? So I guess that's the reason I lost a lot of money, because when the technology was booming, when the PC industry was booming, I was making a lot of money. But when it slowed down, when the products started to commoditize, I don't have a team. I don't have a team to help me, because I simply did not transition myself on entrepreneurship into an enterprise, which I really want. I want an enterprise. I want to be a big company CEO versus a small company shop and make a lot of money. So I learned how to build a team. I learned how to respect people around me. I learned how to not to just trust my own judgment. I learned to listen to people who have more knowledge and experience than me. So I had to pay $40 million of tuition to get there. But and a plane crash. So,
Listening to your story, we can see that you are a multitasker. How do you see us entrepreneurs, wannabe entrepreneurs, having to deal with full-time jobs to pay the bills while investing all of our free time in our side projects that eventually will become our full-time everything?
well, I think you have to prioritize yourself, right? Being an entrepreneur is about risk taking. And having a job, getting paid, go to work from 9 to 5, is job security, is make sure you have a steady income to feed yourself, a certain lifestyle. So you have to prioritize it. If you really want to build a business, you got to be willing to, and something you have to give. You might have to give up that comfortable lifestyle or a payment which is consistent from employee, right? So I will focus. I mean, if you want to be entrepreneur, I mean, I think if you want to be entrepreneur, you just have to put yourself in an uncomfortable environment that the income might not come tomorrow. You know, when I started Vizio in 2 or 3 years, I had no income. You know, I mortgaged my house, and I somehow convinced my wife to believe in me. But that's not easy, you know. Right? You gotta convince them, your whole family, not just yourself, that you're taking a risk. And if we didn't get market share against Sony, I would be probably, I don't know, what am I gonna do? Probably be, I don't have a house to live, you know, because I started a company with the mortgage in my house.
You mentioned a few times that some of the paths you made, that you went through, were picking for you by your mom or other members of your family. What do you think that are your personal characteristics of your personality, anything? What do you think that is your differential to the market, considering that it wasn't picked for you, what you bring to the table?
Well, by the way, I want to make sure that my parents know officially that I'm not blaming them.
I think it's a fair blame.
No, I think I am very optimistic. Right? I always, you know, I lost $40 million, I bounced back. Right? I almost died and I bounced back, and because I really believe that as long as it's where life, we shouldn't give up. And I set myself a goal. I'm gonna get there. I don't care how. I'm gonna get there. I rarely deviate from my goal. So I think that's the quality you need to be an entrepreneur. Just you gotta, once you determine what you want to do, and just fight for it. Fight on.
You mentioned that now you know how to appreciate your team, that you value your team and teamwork. So what are the personal characteristics that you think when you're hiring someone to join your team?
Well, I want to hire somebody who's better than me, more capable than me, and more disciplined than me, and also willing, not just capable, but willing to believe, willing to have the same faith that I have, and there's all kind of different characters out there, and we have people who's really good at operation efficiency. We have teams really great at technology. I have a sales lady who's followed me for many, many years. She's just so persistent. She's, you know, she fly all over the U.S. to get more business, and it's a wide variety of different character you need to put together enterprise.
Also, you have done businesses with a few countries. Your international experience, and you also have partners in other countries, factories in other countries. Know that your supply chain involves a lot of people, over 100,000 people. So what are the most significant differences when you're working with different groups, with different backgrounds, culturally speaking, business-wise?
Oh, I was pretty fortunate that I know a lot of people in the Taiwanese computer manufacturing industry. So today, we have 4 major suppliers building our TV. One is Honghai, Everybody know Hong Hai, Terry Guo. One of them is a company called Amtran. It's a public company in Taiwan. One of them is called TBV, they're a Hong Kong listed company. And another one is called Winstrom. It's also a spin-off of Acer. So I know them quite well from the computer monitor days. So we work closely with them, where they build all the product for us, either in China, in Taiwan, in Mexico. And so when I started the business in 2002 for Vizio, I really looked around and say, this is easy. I can just go to those manufacturers and have them build for us. I mean, 20, 30 years ago, when Samsung and Sony started the business, they better build themselves because you had to have your own factory. But today, all the components that goes into a TV are common parts you can buy from different countries. Like we'll buy from Samsung, we'll buy from Sony, we'll buy from Sharp. And because we have access to components, therefore all we need to do is pick some good quality factory. And the Taiwan computer industry gave us that leverage. So we just went to them and asked them to cooperate with us. And back in 2002, PC market is kind of dying. So they welcome us with open arm, because we're saying, hey, we're going to take you to the consumer electronic business versus we're going to take you out of PC industry. So the timing was great. And also in 2002, the digital TV is taking over the US, mandated by the US government. So it was a great opportunity, and I was pretty fortunate because I was born in Taiwan, because my previous job led me to know quite a few people in the Taiwanese PC industry. So I worked closely with them, and we built out Vizio together as a team.
Vizio is known for fair price and high quality in a world that often has these two qualities or attributes in the opposite side of the table. How do you keep Vizio's mission of keeping quality and price?
Yeah, so we have this dual mission, building great technology for TV at a really affordable price. And that really doesn't make any sense. Because you can't have great quality at the same time have a great price. So because it was so small before, I don't have a lot of overhead. So my strategy is pretty simple. Keep the overhead low and pass the saving to the consumer. But don't take away any quality from the set. So we're not going to discount any component. We're going to build the best quality TV, put in the most feature-rich technology, but at the same time, be served ourselves, so we can pass the saving to the consumer. And efficiency is not just overhead of paying salary or paying rent. Efficiency is also how do you move your supply chain extremely smart. So in the semiconductor industry, the price drops every other weeks. And the longer you hold on to the inventory, the more money you will lose. So our biggest saving actually came from how we smartly, intelligently forecast. So we will not waste the money for our consumer. You see what I'm saying? So if you look at most of our competitors, they lost a couple $1 billion here, $2 billion, $3 billion there. I mean, they didn't lose all this money because they're paying $2 billion worth of salary. They lost the $2 or $3 billion because they're inefficient. They didn't forecast right? They're too greedy. Many, many different reasons. So I was able to practice our dual mission, affordability, and great quality. And we stick to it ever since day one. And we never deviate from this mission. And everybody in our company knows that's our mission. Anyone at Vizio, you ask them what's our mission, they say affordability and good quality, and good technology. They all know. So we've been practicing that since day one, and we're doing that today.
Vizio is a Harvard business case when you think of warehouse management. Can you share a bit about that?
Yeah, so when we started the business, it's kind of strange because all of our competitors have hundreds and millions of people working for them. You look at the number one market share in the U.S. is last quarter was Samsung. Samsung had 21% market share, something like that, 22% market share. Vizio had 20% market share. And LG have 10, 12% market share. We're the 1, 2, 3 leaders. So people found it strange because, again, those companies have millions of people working for them. There's Vizio. We have 450 people today. And so Harvard did a case on us. So how did you do this? People think this is incredible. But if you look back in 2002, when I started the business, I don't need to do my own manufacturing. We can outsource. We don't need to build our own glass. There's glass manufacturers willing to build for us. We don't have to build chips. We don't have to write software. We can just outsource to everybody else. I don't even have to build warehouse. There's so many outsourced warehouse that we have full access to. So until today, we don't build anything. We don't we don't have any manufacturing. We don't have a warehouse in the U.S. But I was able to move 7 to 8 million worth of TV around a year. So Harvard did a case on us, and they call it vertical de-integration. And so Harvard and a lot of schools in Japan also did a case on us because it's, we're so much different than the traditional CE companies, which is completely vertically integrated. I mean, they build their own chips, they build their own software, they did everything themselves. So.
Vizio, I checked on the website, as Vizio has 3 beliefs: redefining smart, putting you first, elevating entertainment. What these beliefs mean in the day-to-day tasks or on the routine of the company?
Well, that's our marketing propaganda. So we want to build great technology, and for example, we'll kind of talk about a remote control a little bit. I mean, if you look at a TV remote control, there's like 40 or 50 key on a plastic remote control. I don't know how many of you know how to operate those keys. I don't think anybody. I don't. I'm in this business. So we figure what we're going to do. So for the longest time, we say, hey, the millennials not watching TV. Why? Because they're used to getting their information or entertainment on their cell phone. So what we did most recently, we launched this product two months ago. We put an entire remote control function onto your cell phone. So I can use my cell phone to turn on my daughter's TV. It gotta be a Vizio new TV, but also because we have a screen, which is interactive, I can also curate content to them now. So I can tell you what to watch versus going from channel up and down, volume up and down, going from channel to channel. You'll never find something you like. We can actually learn from your viewing behavior and curate content to you. So that's a big thing we're working on. So we believe that we're here to make sure that our kids will grow up, want to buy a TV set also, not just on their cell phone. So I want to make sure it's job security for us. So we gotta continue to be innovative, to put more technology, but more user-friendly. Again, technology usually means less user-friendly. But you guys should check out our new TV. It's pretty fun because you can use your iPad, you can use your iPhone, you can use your Android phone to control the TV now.
You were showing me this app before our conversation here. So far, we have been focusing more on your entrepreneur side. And when we went over this app that Vizio offers now, that is way more practical, we spoke about innovation. So how do you see innovation when you're checking the market as an investor, as a purchaser, as someone that will maybe buy a new company to add to the mix of Vizio?
Yeah, well, we often call ourselves the maestro, although we don't play the music, but we're the maestro. We gotta make sure that we know what a customer wants ahead of them. So we always look at a lot of new technology, especially software, and we try to give give more software supplier to help us to build more innovative software to go on our TV sets for the future. So we actually also acquire companies to do that, to make sure we're innovative, because I'm getting old. I want to make sure we have some more young, smart talents to help us to learn about the viewing behavior of the young kids.
I want to focus a bit more on your family. How do you see that your family influenced the success that you have today, the support that you receive? As I don't know if you had a tiger mom or not. Like, how do you see it?
No, my mom's great. My mom's not a tiger mom. Thanks God. But although I know my dad still wants me to get a PhD, but my wife's very supportive. Obviously, she allowed me to take a second mortgage out of my home to start Vizio. And she really believed in me. And my daughter is great. I mean, she's the smart one in the family. And she did get into Stanford, not like me. But, but I have a great family to support me to chase my dream.
And without that support, how do you see your role? I'm pretty sure you have a lot of roles. So how would you present yourself in the matter of priorities, the roles that you have?
Well, I'm chasing after a dream. I mean, again, 15 years ago, I told people I'm going to be bigger than Sony. Most people don't believe in me, but I did that. So, because as I believe I can create better value, and solve the problem of value proposition for TV. I solve the problem for technology for TVs. So I'm not really a serial entrepreneur. I try to focus on a problem, attack the problem, and I believe that if I can do that, people will reward me. So that's really my focus.
Okay. Like many people in this room, me included, we know you're an active contributor and you mentor programs for some organizations. As a mentor, how do you pick someone to work with? And what are the most important skills that young entrepreneurs should have?
Well, I don't pick them. I think a lot of them come to me, I'm willing to help. I think if any individual have a dream, have willingness to do better, to go after their dream, I mean, I'm perfectly willing to help them with my experience, if I can help them. And I don't really pick them. They come to me. I just love to help them because I learn a lot, right? Obviously, I pay for I had a lot of scar, and I paid a lot of tuition. I want to make sure people don't have to repeat that. So I love to help them if I can. And as far as entrepreneurs, still be optimistic and never give up, and go after your dream. This is a great place. U.S. is a great place to make your dream come true.
Thank you, William. I know that our time is a bit short, so we have almost 10 minutes for questions. As this conversation was heading, the idea is to learn more about William and his life story. As I know, if you want to know numbers of Vizio, Google it.
Thank you, William. Good job
Sure.
here.
Thanks.
I'm glad you called William because the other person also called William, so we're not confused with that. And you and I have many things in common. I graduated from Datong, and my GPA also 2.7.
Good.
Not bad. It's
Not
better
bad.
than a lot of people.
Yes. Very
Okay,
good.
and you talk about your key success was you became a good leader. You listened to your team. Am I captured correctly?
Yes.
Okay, but it's very difficult to do it. So my question is, how do you struggle yourself, listen to yourself, or listen to your team? It's not easy thing to do. By the way, I work for Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and I know the struggle in there as well.
Yeah.
So I want to hear from you.
It's not easy. You gotta think through. And I was pretty fortunate because I have a pretty good pretty good team of people to tell me no every day. So, so I got to think through. But I guess a lot of it really depends on experience. You know, I had a pretty bad experience as an entrepreneur, so I learned how to listen more. I mean, 20 years ago, if you tell me that I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that, I'll tell you, no way, I'm gonna do it. So I learned from messing things up. So again, that's experience.
Hi, my name is Walter. I'm an electrical engineering student at USC. My question for you today is that obviously you're an extremely optimistic person, and what keeps you so optimistic, and especially in times of failure, what are some of the major driving factors that allow you to bounce back?
I'm just happy. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that I have a good company, good group of people I work with. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to, you know, was able to go from completely broke to, you know, driving a nice car. So I guess optimism, you got to program yourself to be optimistic. I don't, you know, I'm not a psychologist major. I don't know, but
I'm a psychologist.
you just got to tell yourself, there's nothing to be not happy about. Look at this. We're living in a great place, you know, sunny, even though we pay a lot of tax. We pay a lot of tax for good reason. So, you know, it's great. Coin is always two sides, right? Look at the bright side.
You're kind of far. Can you come closer?
Your story is really inspiring. My question is, how do you address a customer complaint? How do you set up your complaint policy, claim policy, and also how do you address your recall policy? Because must be important in your business.
Yeah, I was hired as a technical support engineer at Datong when I was 22 years old. I listened to complaints every day. First year of my career. And I learned to appreciate the complaint, because if people don't want to talk to you, if you don't want to solve the problem, they will not call you. And the people who complain the most are most likely the best evangelists you have for your brand. And they call you for a reason. They call you because they want to solve a problem. So customer service is the part of the most critical part of our business. And the customer happiness is what builds a brand. Most people think brand is built by advertising. Not. Brand is built by customer satisfaction. So until today, I take 4 or 5 emails from customer a day. I mean, I used to take 2 or 3 calls an hour, but now I got a lot of people blocking me from answering email. So, I still have a close reach to customer who complain that their warranty is only a year and 2 days old, and they shouldn't pay for service because it's, they deserve a better treatment. Every once in a while, we'll break the rule. We'll help them.
We did talk about this before, and you did mention that of the 450 employees that Visio have, how many of them are customers?
Yeah, out of 450 people we have right now, 180 of them are full-time. Their full-time jobs to make sure they take care of customers on the phone. Well, 180 people in South Dakota, right in the heart of America, answering phone call every day and emails. And that's how you build customer satisfaction, and that's how you build brand. That's the reason Visio is a great brand, and it's known by 99% of the U.S. Consumers.
We can have one more question. You.
Yeah, thank you. And I have the first question is how did you choose your partners? And furtherly, what are the expertise of each of you and what are the roles of each of you? And then are they still working with you right now? And what are the biggest challenges when you scale up your company? It's a lot of questions. The first question, how did you choose your partners?
How do I choose my partners? You gotta be, again, how do I choose partners and how do I choose employees the same way, right? They gotta be capable and they gotta be willing. And we have a pretty weird business model and most people are not used to it. So they gotta be willing to work with us. They gotta have faith. So choosing the partner and choosing the employee is the same thing for us. And in many cases, it's not just our choice, it's their choice too. So we gotta collaboratively work together. It's not we choose them, right? It's we choose each other. So collaboration is the key word.
So did you know them, for a while before you worked together on the company?
Not all of them. I mean, we have a lot of partners, not all of them we know for a while. Sometimes we just try to take some risks and try. And it's a continuous learning process for us to get to know each other.
Okay, so you should have some of your kind of core partners, which we work on the strategic or the missions, the very important decisions. So what are the expertise of the background of each of you? So I know you have the engineering background, so some other partner may have the different background on marketing, on
My team member?
Yeah.
I'm the dreamer, and I'm the geek, the product guy, and my president of the company, he's the businessman. He has finance background. He understands how balance sheet and income statement works. I don't really like that. So together we're a good team, and I have out of my C level, I have a chief operation officer president, which is the person I told you about. I have a CFO, which is great, really disciplined in finance and accounting. And I have a procurement office, which is he works like 20 hours a day to forecast. And I have a chief sales officer, who's just running around the whole country all the time and manages like 40 people. And administration office who manage service, legal, like it or not, we have a lot of legal works, a lot of lawsuits, so you gotta be able to manage that. And what else? I have a chief technology and a chief marketing officer who understand the future trend of the industry. Well, the company, I was talking about my employee, but the partner we outsource manufacturing, we outsource technology, we outsource chips, we outsource software, we outsource legal, accounting, and we outsource warehouse, logistics, shipping.
Okay, so I'm sorry, we have finished the time, so we'd like to take this opportunity to thank you, Mr. Wang and the moderator, Carissa, for her efforts. And we have a previous president from Junior Chamber of Commerce call to present our recognition.